So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to start by welcoming our friends from Japan, France, and Russia. We are so glad to have you here in Reykjavik. And thank you to my good friend, President Ólafur Ragnar Grímsson, for inviting us to this plenary stage to celebrate the accomplishment of the third Arctic Science Ministerial as we pass the torch to the next host of ACM4. Russia and France. It is symbolic to hold this handover ceremony in Iceland, not just because we are the co-host of ACM3, but because Iceland is where the Arctic community comes to meet. After missing the last year, I appreciate this global gathering even more. I want to share with you something I saw in the newspaper here in Iceland yesterday. A group of students in Hvolsvöllur visited glacier Sólheimajökull, which is not too far from where we are today. Students from this school, they've been measuring the glacier since the year 2010, and it has retracted quite significantly over the years. This story struck me not just because of the striking reality of the melting happening here in Iceland, but also because for Icelanders, warming of the Arctic is not an abstract idea. These children are not the Arctic scientists of the future, they are the scientists today. This once again shows the vital role of fostering local knowledge in the Arctic research, where I am reminded that for Icelanders, the glacier is such an important part of our history and future, of course. The Arctic is an area that is very close to my heart. From my time with the Arctic Council as a Minister for Foreign Affairs 5 years ago, it is so important that we have also participated in the second and third Arctic Science Ministerial in Berlin and then in Tokyo. I can say that this has been rewarding to see the Arctic take the center stage. From my perspective, I have seen tremendous growth in international science cooperation, and I am certain that this is no coincidence. As we all know, cooperation in science and research is more important now than ever. Indeed, it is the reason why we can gather here today after nearly 2 years of living with a global pandemic. Over the last 3 years, we have been working side by side with our wonderful partners in Japan as co-hosts of ACM3, which we held just a few months ago in Tokyo. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, we were determined to hold a successful Arctic Science Ministerial meeting with robust and useful research for the international Arctic science community. Our work is well documented and easily accessible on ASM3 website and in the ASM3 final report, Knowledge for a Sustainable Arctic. The report includes a full science summary and key findings from our science process. Over 400 projects are submitted to the science process under the 4 themes we establish: observe, understand, respond, and strengthen. Importantly, we establish these 3 themes without making any specific difference between them and see them as co-equal components of the Arctic research. The ASM3 science process was developed to produce both near-term and long-term actions in the joint statements which was signed by all 28 ministers. The joint statement also includes crucial input from Arctic Indigenous leaders who brought a focus to the respected engagement of our full Arctic knowledge system. The report also includes Arctic science overviews from each country and international organization who took part in ASM3 science process. This is a useful tool for linking international infrastructure with the research priorities in the Arctic science. We also innovated some new tools which we hope to see go forward with future organizers. The ASM3 web seminar served as a public forum to engage in the global research community throughout the planning process of ASM3. A moving forward section is included in the report to emphasize key actions for scientists and policymakers. These actions are identified by our Science Advisory Board, and we hope that this will be a useful tool for other Arctic science discussions. We also, just to conclude here very shortly, we also created a new tool, an ASM3 database. It maps every project submitted to the ASM3 science process in a searchable and accessible online format. This database fulfills a critical missing piece to support further cooperation opportunities in the Arctic, and it will only grow in value with the next Ministerial. I would just like to highlight that the cooperation with Japan has been extremely useful, and we so much look forward for a greater cooperation in the fields of science. And thank you very much for listening to us and to this fantastic Arctic Circle Forum. Thank you.